Assalamu alaikum students. Today we are going to start our new topic, that is the transfer of heat. In this we are going to describe thermal energy as a change in the internal energy of a body, explain in terms of molecules and electron flow how heat transfer occurs in solids, define the term thermal conductivity, describe the factors affecting the transfer of heat through solids conductor, and we are going to do the problem based on this thermal conductivity. What are good and bad conductors of heat with examples, their uses, and explain that insulation reduces energy transfer by conduction. So first we are going to start with what is a thermal energy. Now thermal energy, whenever there is a temperature of the object increases, uh, that makes the means that molecules get more energy and they start to move faster. Thermal energy is the energy possessed by an object and system due to the movement of these particles within the object or the system. Thermal energy is one of the various type of energy. Energy, yes, we have done energy, that is ability to do work. A system is simply a collection of objects within some boundary. Therefore, thermal energy can be described as ability of something to do work due to the movement of these particles. Similar, like we have kinetic energy, we have potential energy, we can say thermal energy is due to the movement of particles. So it is a type of kinetic energy, that is energy due to the motion of a body. So thermal energy results in something having an internal temperature, and the temperature can be measured. For example, we measure temperature in Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Kelvin. The faster the particle moves, means the higher is the temperature recorded. So we know that we have learned previously that temperature is the average kinetic energy of the molecules. The more the molecules move faster, it means faster is the temperature. Now, when we place a pot of water on the heating element, the thermal energy of the stove causes the particle of the pot to move faster, and then this energy reaches the water, and the water also start to move faster. The water molecules also start to move faster, so the internal energy of the heated element is transferred to the pot, ultimately to the water within the pot. This transfer of thermal energy from stove to pot and to the water is referred as the heat. It is very important, you must understand these terms. Heat is we used to especially we use that it is to transfer the thermal energy from one object or a system to another, means that the transfer of energy is termed as heat, and the thermal energy is the energy possessed within an object or a system due to the movement of the particles. So heat and thermal energy are different. So it should be very clear. So how we are going to transfer the heat? There are transfer heat is a physical process, and it heat is transferred due to the movement of the thermal energy from one substance to another due to the temperature distance. And we always know that it travels from higher temperature region. For instance, this side is more hotter as the burner is directly burning under this side. So this side is more hotter, there is a lot of vibration. So from this hotter end region, the heat is the transferred from this part to the much colder part, uh, to the much colder part of this rod. So the heat always travels from a hotter region to a cooler region. So there are three ways mode of transfer of heat. We have conduction, convection, and radiation. And today we are going to discuss conduction in this particular lecture. So conduction is a mode of transfer of heat. It requires a medium. Without medium, conduction cannot occur because it is the energy that is transferred from particles to particles due to their vibration. And this is the energy that is transfer of heat by direct contact. In conduction, there is no actual movement of the molecules. The molecules, on receiving the energy, on receiving the energy, they start to vibrate much faster, and they passes their energy to the adjacent molecule. When the both ends, for example, if you can see this, in this is the hotter, and this is a, colder side. Now, body A is at a higher temperature and body B is at a lower temperature. When they are in contact, A will lose the thermal energy at a higher rate than the B, and the B is going to absorb this energy at a higher rate than A. So this transfer of heat will stop when A and B both have the same temperature. So conduction is a mode of transfer of heat that requires a medium, and it transfers of heat by vibrating atoms and free electrons in solid from hot to cold part of a body. So conduction is a transfer of heat from hot to cold part of the body. Okay. And there are two mechanisms. The one mechanism is that the energy is transferred from the heat energy is transferred from one place to another through molecular vibration in solid. It is achieved by transfer of momentum of individual atom or molecules. In conduction, there is no actual movement. This is the one mechanism, but this is a very slow process. But the metals conducts the heat energy very fastly, and this is the second mechanism is that metals have free electrons and they can transfer energy more quickly. When the metals are heated, this we know that there is loosely bounded electrons in their outer shell. They are free to move when they receive the energy. When they receive the energy, they gain kinetic energy, and it transfers through the movement. They move in spaces between them. They collide with the ions, and and transfer energy to them, and in this way they transfer energy very quickly. So all the metals are the good conductor of heat, and insulators do not have these free electrons, so they conduct the heat poorly. Explain why the metals always feel cold to touch, whereas wood, for example, feel warm. So you just think about it, and at the end of the lecture, we are going to discuss the answer. So this is you can see that these are all the ions. A piece of metal is shown. These are all the ions, and you can see in between there are free electrons, and these outer free electrons are free to move. These negative electrons move between the positive metal ions, and they uh, carry the energy quickly from one end to the another end. Now, the second is what is thermal conductivity? We know the thermal means heat and conductivity means ability to convey. So, thermal conductivity refers to the ability of a given material to conduct or transfer heat. Some materials transfers very quickly, some are lesser, they transfers, their ability is a little lesser than even, and some they do not transfer. That those are called insulator. It is generally denoted by symbol K. Material with high thermal conductivity are used in heat sinks, whereas the material with low values are thermal insulators. Those materials whose value of K, that is thermal conductivity, is high, they are a good conductors, and those who are thermal conductivity is low, they are insulators. So the definition of thermal conductivity: the rate of flow of heat across the opposite faces of a meter cube. So this is a meter cube, and these are the two opposite faces of a meter cube of a substance maintained at a temperature difference of 1 Kelvin. There is a temperature difference between the two faces is maintained at the 1 Kelvin, is called the thermal conductivity of that substance. So we are going to define this further. The amount of heat that flow in unit time is called the rate of flow of heat. So rate of flow of heat, Q represent the heat, and upon time, that the rate of flow heat is equal to Q upon T. It is observed that the rate at which heat flows through solid depends on the various factors. So the rate of flow of heat depends on the various factors. The first factor is cross-sectional area of a solid. The larger the cross-sectional area of a solid, contains large number of molecules and free electrons in each layer parallel to its cross-sectional area, and hence greater will be the rate of flow of heat through the solid. So the rate of heat flow is directly proportional to the area. More the area, more will be the rate of flow of heat, or lesser the area, lesser will be the flow of rate of flow of heat. uh, Length of the solid. Larger the length between the hot and cold end of the solid, more time will be taken to conduct heat to the cooler end, and smaller will be the rate of flow of heat. So, rate of flow of heat varies inversely with the length. The more the length, the lesser will be the rate of flow. And the third factor is temperature difference between the ends. We know that if there is a greater temperature difference between the hot and cold faces of the solid, greater will be the rate of heat flow. So rate of heat flow by is directly proportional to the change in temperature. If we combine all these factors, uh, rate of heat flow of heat is directly proportional to area, inversely proportional to length, and directly proportional to change of temperature. So we can make this equation. This proportionality sign is replaced by a K, that is the thermal conductivity of the particular material. And uh, so every substance has own capacity to conduct heat. The thermal conductivity of a material can be described by the formula. The K represents the thermal conductivity. So if you take L on this side, so Q upon T multiplied by L, and A into delta T will be uh, in the denominators. So this is your formula for thermal conductivity. In this K is the thermal conductivity, and we are going to derive the units watts per meter Kelvin. Q is the amount of heat transferred through the material in joules per second or watt. L represents the length of the hot and cold end of the solid. A is the area of the surface in square meters, and T is the temperature difference in Kelvin. So thermal conductivity of a K depends on the material, and this is your SI units are. Now SI unit of heat is joules, time is seconds, length is meter, area meter square, and the difference is temperature is K. So joules per second is are the unit that is called watt, and meter, and this meter and meter square are cancelled, and we are left with meter minus inverse, or W upon M and K. So this is the unit of the thermal conductivity. So K is defined as the rate of flow of heat through the unit area of cross section of a meter square of a material, where the temperature difference between the surfaces or faces is 1 K. Now we are going to apply this formula. Example, a 4 centimeter thick cast iron sheet has a cross sectional area of 10,000 square meters. So 10,000 square meter is equal to 1 meter square. One side of the sheet is at a 500 degree centigrade, and other end is 600 degree centigrade. Now how much amount of heat passes through the sheet in each second? So your time is 1 second. It means Q is you have to find Q, that is amount of heat you have to find Q in 1 second, where T is equal to 1. Now the thermal conductivity of cast iron is 85 watt per meter Kelvin. So you are going to put the values. K is 85, area is given as 10,000, that is converted to 1 meter square. Temperature difference 600 minus 500 is 100, and the length is 4 centimeter. That is, so 4 centimeter in meter will be 0.04 meters. So you are going to put the values, and the answer is that is 212. Uh, that that is 212,500 joules per second. So this is how the uh, you can find the amount of heat energy. Now the next is why metals are the good thermal conductors. We have already done earlier, the metals have the free electrons, and these free electrons, when they gain energy, they quickly move in between the intermolecular spaces, and they collide with the positive ions, and they transfer energy to them. So they quickly move from one end to the another end, and that's why the metals are the thermal conductor. So on the basis of conduction, the conductors are divided into two groups: thermal conductor, and that is the good conductor, and thermal insulator, that are the poor conductors. The materials which conduct heat at a high rate are called the thermal conductor, that is the good conductor of heat and electricity. Examples are all metals: copper, iron, aluminum, steel, etc. And thermal insulators, the materials which do not cannot conduct heat at a appreciably high rate are called thermal insulators or poor conductor. The examples are all are non-metals like wood, rubber, plastic, glass, etc. Now you can see that the particles in the solids are closely packed as compared to in gases. Thus, more particles in collide with each other to pass energy to their neighboring particles. So, in solid, the conduction is more as compared to liquid, and in gases, it is negligible. Okay, now the application of the good conductors and the bad conductors. The very common example is uses of conductors. They are used where heat has to be quickly transmitted, like pans, kettles, cooking utensils, and they are all made up of metals like aluminum, copper, and steel. And application of the uses of the poor conductor, used where unwanted heat has to be kept away or to prevent heat loss. For example, handles of the saucepans, frying pans, and cloths and plastics and wood and vacuum flasks. So this is one of the use of the good and bad conductor of heat. Now there are few examples: silver, copper, aluminum, brass, lead, and stainless steel. All metals are the good conductor, and poor conductor means insulator. Air is an insulator, vacuum, styrofoam, um, body fat, cork, water, and glass. These are all the poor conductors. Now, what are the uses of good and bad conductor of heat? The woolen coats are the bad conductor of heat. Woolen clothes do not actually warm. They do not. They actually, since they are the bad conductors, they do not allow heat to conduct away or to escape out, and thus keep our body warm. So our body heat is not conducted, and they kept it inside because they are insulator. Woolen clothes are, so they keep our body warm. Building materials like bricks, asbestos, mud, and grass are bad conductors of heat. They do not permit heat and cold to pass through the walls of the brick. They keep the house warm in winter and cooler in summer. Roof sheds are made of asbestos for the same reason. Hair and fur of the animals are bad conductor of heat, and they protect them from cold. You can see that the birds that are sitting during the winter, they just trap the air inside their feather, in the furs and the feathers. The feather itself is an insulator, and when that they trap the air is again an insulator. So they protect themselves, and their body heat do not is not conducted to the surrounding, and they keep this keep the birds warm. Vehicle carrying inflammable materials such as petrols are covered with material of bad conductor of heat. Otherwise, the petrol get heated up and can catch fire. Soldering iron, you can see this is a hand tool used to heat to solder. It is used to heat a metal, so it we can fix the two metals plates. We can join the two metal plates with the help of this solder and soldering iron. It is just like an iron. When we plug in this, the tip is made of copper, and it get very hot. It is made of a iron with tip made of a copper, because copper is better conductor of heat than iron. Soldering is a process in which two or more metal items are joined together by melting. Their their purpose is to safely transfer heat and have many applications, included space heating, refrigerators, cooling, power stations, chemical plants, and other processes. So you can see the table mats. Sawdust is used to cover ice blocks. It is just to reduce the melting of the ice. So it is an insulator. Wooden ladles that save our hand by burning. Woolen blankets and clothes. Fiberglass, felt, and expanded polyester foams. These are all uh, examples of the insulators. So I have put a question: why does the metal feel colder than wood if they both are at the same temperature, and we when we put on our hand? Since the metal is a good conductor, wood is an insulator. Metal conduct the heat away from your hand, and wood do not conduct the heat away from your hand as well as the metal. So the wood feels warmer than metal. Okay, now the last is insulation reduces the heat transfer by conduction. Means that if we are going in order to reduce the transfer of heat by conduction, we are if we put insulator in between them, so that the heat transfer is reduced. For instance, the fiberglass is a not a good conductor, air is a bad conductor, insulator of heat. So uh, so if in a double glass window we trap the air in between the two glasses, two layer of glasses, this since air is an insulator, this prevent the heat loss or gain between the inside and the outside. The inside temperature is will remain the same, and the outside temperature will not affect the inside temperature. So there is a because of this insulator air, the transfer of heat by conduction is reduced to a greater extent. ठीक है? Okay, now there are many applications. You can see heat insulators are there on the iron just to prevent our hand from burning it, because iron is the very hot plate that is below that is a very hot plate. The handle of the electrical appliances are made from heat insulators such as wood, plastic to avoid unwanted transfer of heat. You can see there is a cork mats. Another heat insulator is used to reduce heat transfer, a cork mat. This reduces the heat loss from pan to the table by conduction. And we have already discussed the double glazed window because it traps the air. Air is an insulator, so it reduces the heat gain from outside the house during the hot day, and it also reduces the heat loss from inside the house during winter season. Okay, thank you. Allah Hafiz.